Hello and welcome to video 4 of our database video series. This video we're going to be looking at queries. Now when you think about it, databases might have thousands and thousands of records on them. Yes, our band one only has 14 records on it, but databases could have thousands of records on them. And sometimes customers might contact you with a request where they're looking for a very particular product or service. So in our admin tasks, if we're given something that's customer based, we're most likely to receive a request for a customer that's looking for information. And that's what we're going to do here. So if you look at our bands, we've got bands with different types of events, we've got bands that live in different towns, and all have different amounts of money that they charge per hour. So we're going to go to our Create tab, and we're going to go to our Query Wizard. Now it's called a query because we're asking questions of the database. You'll always use the simple query wizard, and then we'll put across the fields that we want to have in our query. So for this particular query, we're going to have a customer who is looking for a band in Glasgow at less than £350 an hour that does wedding receptions. So I'm going to put in band, price per hour, band members we don't need, so I'll take that back out. We're going to need the town because we need to know Glasgow. We need to know the type of events as well, but we don't need the contact details quite yet. So we'll get to the next stage. It says detail. That's what we should always select, is detail, and then here we should name it. So generally if you've got a task number, name it the task number, or if there's particular text, I would name it that. So customer query 1. Sorry, I couldn't leave that incorrectly capitalised. And unlike the form, we're not going to go and look at it because it's just going to show us the table. So let's view the design query. So when we hit run, it shows us what's coming back as a result of running. You'll see at the moment it's all 14 records. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put it in Glasgow. So we want a band in Glasgow. So we'll insert Glasgow, and you'll notice the moment we type Glasgow and I hit tab to move away from Glasgow there, it immediately put inverted commas. Those inverted commas, like Excel, let the database know that it's text. So when we run that, you'll now see that we've reduced to 6 records that are from Glasgow. Okay, now we're looking for one that is under £400 an hour. So, like Excel again, as if you were doing an if statement, you would use the same operator. So it could be less than, greater than, equal to. So less than or equal to would be that, greater than or equal to would be that. It works the same way, or it could even be between if they had a price range. So you could say between 100 and 400. Okay? If you run that, it'll bring up everything again because everything is from 400 to 100. When you do between, it's inclusive at the end. But our customer is looking for bands that are less than £400. Okay, not equal to, less than 400. 400 is above what she's willing to pay. So we put that in. Now the reason I will run this query after every bit of information I put in is because it makes it much easier to identify where you've made your mistake. The other thing you need to be clear on is you don't put the pound sign in. If you put the pound sign in and then you move away from it, you'll notice that the inverted commas go around it because it recognises the pound sign as text. And then when you look at that, it comes up telling us there's a data type mismatch in the criteria. So you take away the inverted commas, take away the pound sign, and it's just the number. No commas for thousands, no pound signs for currency, just the number we're doing the criteria on. So run our criteria now, and you can see that we have reduced down to 5 records. So one of the bands in Glasgow is over our criteria. And we're looking for a band that does wedding receptions. Sorry, no, we're not. We're looking for a band that does corporate on this occasion. Corporate. So you can see, looking here, we can see that there's 1, 2, 3 bands that do corporate. But again, this could be a database of thousands and thousands of bands. So we're going to set it up as if that's what we're doing. Now, we're going to go here and we'll type in corporate. And we'll run it. Oh, now you'll see that no bands have come back. But if we take out corporate, we can see that the word corporate is there. So why is it not found in it? Well, that's because there's more text in the fields, in the cells than just the word corporate. So what we need to do is we're going to use what they call a wildcard. So a wildcard is the asterisk. If you place a wildcard before text or after text, it searches for the text that you put in between the two, and it shows that it's willing to accept anything around it. So I'm going to put a star on either side of corporate. You'll see it's put like in straight away. You don't need to type that in yourself. And now when we run it, it's going to bring back the 4 bands that all have corporate next to them. Okay, now corporate's all at the end. Now that might not always be the case, but in this one we could remove the asterisk after it and it would still bring up all the details. But if we remove the asterisk before it, it wouldn't, because it'd be looking for corporate to start with that. So the asterisks mean that it's willing to accept anything on either side of the word. This quite often comes up in database queries where they put lists and forms, whether it be like a list of hobbies or a list of colours, and you're looking for the records that match that one. You'll need to use your wildcard to search that. So you can now see that there's 4 different records here that we could show to our customer, and that's the query complete. At this stage, you would have to print it out, which we'll go into in the next video, a bit of detail about how best to print tables and queries.